Thank you, Seattle, for checking out the show with BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio. You're listening to BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hello, everyone. My name is BK International Talent Scout. I'm bringing a brand new show to you called BK Presents. 30 minutes, nonstop, your favorite in gospel music. The studio sessions, going deep into interviews with your favorite artists, producers, and their engineers. You and your concert previews and concert reviews. Get it all on bkpresents.com. A fantastic show. We have a pastor who is a professor at Seattle Central College, Pastor Professor Carl Livingston. And we are going to be talking about something very unique and very special. But first, let's greet our guest.
Hello, Brian. It's so good to see you, and it's so good to be on BK Presents.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about the Southern strategy. I did some research tonight. I listened to a lot of YouTube clips today, and it was amazing what the Southern strategy is all about. What is your quick take as we go deeper into this subject? What is the Southern strategy? I was so surprised.
Well, Brian Osborne, I want you to know that the Southern strategy is the system of discrimination few people know about that's been in place in the United States against people of color from 1970 to the present. What it is it's what Nixon all the way through Trump have hid, a discrimination they've hid into the country to hurt Black and brown Americans, to stop us from achieving equality, which we were on the way to achieve it. And you wonder, well, why would they do it? They did it to get the votes of especially those whites down south and in suburban areas that don't want us to be equal to them.
How did that name come about, the Southern strategy?
Yeah, because it's a weird name, you know.
Weird name.
It's a weird name. And it came about because they invented it. They invented it because what happened is that Nixon was the favorite to be the Republican president in 1968. And he was learning from a dude named Goldwater that ran in 64. Ronald Reagan tried to kind of, at the last minute, win over the conservatives to knock Nixon out of the race. So Nixon gathered those conservatives in a Southern strategy in a motel. Oh, we know that it was a motel, man. We even got that it was a motel in 1968. And I think it was early summer. And he had racist Strom Thurmond speaking for him because those racists want to hear from a racist. And he was meeting with them to say, hey, don't vote for Reagan. I will promise you that if you will help me, I'll go slow on all of this civil rights stuff. I'll undo the programming, helping these people so that they won't catch you. And I will even turn the organizations against them that's supposed to be fighting for them. And that was the Southern strategy for him to win the election. And then they put that name in some of the documents. And I got the documents in the book, man. I got the documents from a professor down in Arkansas. And she's got a big book called The Long Southern Strategy. She published in 2019. So that was the name they gave it. It's a weird name, but if we use the name they gave it, then basically we can bring them to the court of public opinion and prove that they owe us new DEI programming, new affirmative action, and they owe us reparations.
So you're talking about reparations and other things that will benefit minorities. What are some of the taglines that are being used for the Southern strategy now?
So what it is they got these plays, and you can't really see this here.
Oh,
But,
we can see it. We can
oh,
see
you
it.
can see it. Okay. All right. So they got these plays that they run, and they run these plays, and so what they do is they try to take away civil rights from us. They try to take away civil rights, and it looked like it wasn't going to happen from Nixon all the way to Bush. Now under Trump, it looks like it's really happening. They've already taken away affirmative action. They go and criminalize certain portions of certain communities, like our community. And that's why they did weed and seed. That's why they did mass incarceration. And now they're putting stress on the Black family. Now we got to go now and go get our Jamal and Ray Ray out of prison. We got to go now and help raise their kids and all of that. And then the last thing they do is they push a capitalism that curbs or takes away the programming that was in place when I was a kid, that made the central area in Seattle and the hilltop area in Tacoma so vibrant in communities all across this country. They were like, we coming to get that programming. That programming was done to lift all people, and Black people were using it to rebuild our communities. But because it was helping us, they would rather hurt whites to hurt us more, keep us from becoming equal. So those are the three main things: crimping civil rights, criminalizing certain communities, and a capitalism that curbs all of the social programming that was in place to lift up the poor.
What can the church do to help roll back the Southern strategy?
Well, the first thing that we've got to do is we got to unify and begin to come together. You can't help a people as a people. I say in my book, Shoestrings and Bootstraps, you can't help a people as a people who as a people don't help themselves. So we got to come together in our various groups, and we got to begin to meet, strategize, and plan. We got to come up with a plan for what to do. We need to do that in the Urban League, in the NAACP, in the fraternities and sorority organizations. We got to do that wherever Black people are. And then we got to out what they're doing to us. We have to name the thing. Believe it or not, man, it was Albert Einstein that said a problem well described is a problem half solved. One of the reasons why we ain't even halfway towards fixing what they're doing to us is because we haven't well described the problem. And the first part of well describing a problem is to get the right name. And so we've used all kinds of names. We didn't think it mattered, but we should have, because in any court case, if you don't bring it under the right area of law, they throw your court case out. Anybody coming with rumors, if they come up to us talking some mess that ain't really the name for something we did, we basically go, get out of our face. I didn't do that. That's not what I did. I didn't do that. You have to know the name. And so in just coming up with the name and being able to identify the plays, just like Albert Einstein said, we are halfway towards fixing the problem. A problem well described is a problem half solved. So we gotta rally, we gotta unify, strategize, including naming this thing and describing it, and we gotta come up with a plan. And then we need a plan of action, then action on the plan.
How can people do research to understand the problem?
Well, go ahead.
Yeah, how can people research the problem to understand the problem?
Well, the first thing to do, I think, is just to write down the word Southern strategy, because it's a weird word. Then go look it up. Go to Wikipedia, go to Britannia, go to whatever is the quickest place you like to go to get a basic explanation. And then in less than a year, I'm going to be coming out with the book called The Playbook: How the Southern Strategy Became Secret U.S. Policy Against Americans of Color. Get my book. let's help make it a bestseller, because all we're doing is outing what they did to us and describing the problem that we're in so that we can solve it. And so if you go look, if people will check, they're going to see that there are at least 15 books that have already been published over the 50 years on the Southern Strategy. There are more than 40 articles that have been published on the Southern Strategy. And in my book, I got them all. I got the whole list because I have to prove what they've been doing to us. And I'm an attorney too. Proof is what I do.
You're a pastor, attorney, and a professor. You got all the bases covered. What does the Southern Strategy look like in Seattle or Pacific Northwest areas?
So whenever you see those three plays happening, the crimping of civil rights, and we have seen that in Seattle, somewhat at the state level, but mostly at the national level, you're looking at the Southern Strategy. Whenever you see the criminalizing of certain communities like our community, you're looking at the Southern Strategy. And whenever you see capitalism being pushed way beyond any social programming that would help us to dry up Vista, model cities, all of the stuff that was helping camp and that was helping all of the programming that we had in place in Seattle, you were looking at the Southern Strategy. And it's not one thing. They hit you with a lot of little things so that they can hide it. It's like death by 1,000 cuts. So when they push weed and seed on us, which they were doing in our community to criminalize our community, that was the Southern Strategy. We looked up in 1980 and found out that the state of Washington had the most criminalized Black community in all of the country. We looked up in 1980 and found out. See, we didn't really apply the math because our numbers are low. We just thought, nah, we ain't got as many people incarcerated as Mississippi. But you have to compare that number incarcerated to the number in the overall population. We were worse than Mississippi. That was the Southern Strategy being worked on us. And so that's how you go and find it. You go see where they're trying to bring the pain. And in the pain, you'll see the plays of the strategy.
Wow. Let's talk about what you see happening for yourself. How will you energize others to join this campaign to help uplift Black and Brown families?
Well, see, that's why I'm so glad to be on BK Presents and to be talking to you and your International Talent Scout organization, your whole group of people who check you out, because it's going to be the younger generation and even the ones younger than you that are really going to do the work. So one of the things I've got to do is publish the book. What I've got to do is get the word out. But it's really the younger people that are even braver, even more energy, and that have so much at stake that are really going to make the difference. They're going to take this to the streets. They're going to demand that the preachers and the pastors working with the mosque get ourselves together and unify. They're going to demand that the NAACP and the Urban League do something. And in the process of making the demand, the work's going to get done. But the older people like me, we got to explain to them what happened. That's our job, is to bring the wisdom so that the younger people can bring the action.
What does the fight look like on the media front of newspaper, print media, social media? How can those media foundations or media principles help you do the clarion call to undo Southern Strategy?
Yeah, it's especially the power of the podcast, because it's the media that helps get the information out to mobilize the people. And it ain't about newspapers anymore. It's about online stuff. It's about social media, and whoever are our most important social media people, they become our most important mobilizing or at least the platform for mobilizing. So it is crucial that we make maximum use of podcasts. It's crucial that we make maximum use of all of the social media platforms out there to get the word out, to help people understand that this is the name of what they've been doing to us for over 50 years, to help people understand how the plays work. It's like a playbook. They run it like a playbook to help people understand what we have done in the past to overcome things like segregation and slavery, and what we can learn from the past so that we can put a plan of action together and then engage action on the plan. So social media is going to help make it happen. And if we don't use social media, we're going to be left behind. We're not going to end up doing much.
So we have 3 years until the next major election. What does the midterms look like to you from your political perspective?
Well, this midterm coming up is going to be crucial. It's going to determine at least who will run the House. If Trump's MAGA Republicans run the House of Representatives, then Trump is going to be in an easier position to do Southern Strategy 3.0. All of this Project 2025 can be better understood by understanding the Southern Strategy. And he's going to keep working that easier if he gets the House. And it's possible, if there's a maximum turnout, that we can get the House and the Senate. Well, what will that do? That's going to bring a lot of investigations up against what he's doing. It's going to help pull the curtain back. It will give us a place where we can talk about, we know what you're doing. You're doing systemic discrimination against us, but we can be saying it from Congress. It means the Speaker of the House is going to be an African-American man for the first time in all history, Hakeem Jeffries. And that the Senate, see, they're probably getting ready to get rid of the senator that's the minority leader from New York. And it's just going to mean African Americans are going to move up even that much more, or at least the whites that are closer to our community, to move up that much more in the Senate to keep the pressure on Trump, because Trump intends to basically steal this coming election if he doesn't have the majority. And he's putting people in place to do it. It'll be easier if he has the Congress in his back pocket. It will be harder for him to do it if he doesn't have the Congress. He's going to do it regardless, because that's just who he is. If he survives, if he's still alive, his health is terrible. If he's still alive, if they're able to keep pumping him or whatever they do, you can see that they've been doing something to intravenously to keep him going. He might have had a stroke, and at least one. If he's still in some kind of health to keep going, he ain't going nowhere, because he realizes if he stays alive and leaves office, there's the possibility that he's going to be criminalized further. And instead, what he wants to do is, he likes that power, and he's going to come against everybody that he feels has come against him. And he's going to make money. He is making money off the country. So for African Americans, it's a double V campaign, just like back in World War II. We had the double V: stop Hitler, go home and get our civil rights. We got to stop Trump, who's still doing the Southern strategy. And in the process, we got to come and get our equality and protect our community.
Let's talk to our business community, corporate, local, commercial. What can they do to support Black and brown families?
Well, the number one thing is to not only make money, but to take that money and make sure that you're hiring people that look like you, and that you are going back and investing some back in our communities. And if our businesses will do that, and it means we need to support our businesses as well. If our businesses will do that, then it will increase our employment. And we've got to do that now, because when what Trump is doing in Southern Strategy 3.0, he is actually firing Black people. They're mentioning Black women, but it's Black men too. It's just a few more Black women than Black men, but we shouldn't leave the Black men out. They're going after Black people that are not MAGA. So that means our unemployment is going up. Well, that can be fixed partly by our own businesses hiring more. So we got to go to all of them, from Ezels on across, on up and down, and say, you need to please hire our own people. We have to support our own businesses to make sure that they can. And then we got to ask them, can you invest back in our community? Can you invest in BK Presents and in other podcasts like this, so that their job becomes even easier? They can do even more. And so as we invest back in our community, we will have the money from our own, because we got more than we think, from our own income to replace what they're trying to do against us.
I have a tough question for you. Is brick and mortar businesses dead and people are working virtually, or working from home, working from other cities or other communities? What's the new forecast for business and how it can help undo the Southern strategy?
Well, there's a major transformation going on, as your insightful question points to. And that major transformation is that so many things are becoming virtual. But at the same time, it's a transformation that is not complete. It's going to take a long time to have a totally virtual society. And in the meantime, those businesses that you could go to on some Main Street or Wall Street, Black Wall Street near you, they're still going to be there for a little while. They're going to be there for a little while. So we have to do both things, as the transformation is total. This is a major transformation too. This is a major transformation, just like the transformation from agricultural stuff to manufacturing and capitalism was a major transformation. As that transformation happens, we got to be in the transformation, but we also got to have one foot in the brick and mortar stuff that still exists today, because there are people that still use those businesses and they're still making money. And we're good at both things. So we need to do both things.
Let's hit on a topic of mental health, spiritual health, and medical health. And even that's changing. We used to could go to your doctor's office. Now they're saying, hey, let's do this Zoom meeting over the phone. And, you're getting the prescriptions mailed to you. Or, let's talk about medical and mental health and how that's changing. Because the reason why I'm saying this, if your mental health isn't strong, it's hard to fight. It's hard to vote. It's hard to go outside. It's hard to engage. So how can that be addressed with such a fight that we're in?
We're really going to need our mental health professionals to help us. And the good thing is we've got a lot of mental health professionals that are African Americans, and we need to make connections with the Eastern African Americans, a community that's kind of separate from ours that sometimes doesn't work with our community very well. Because see, what's going on is in normal everyday medicine, including nursing and all that other stuff, we already know they don't do a good job serving us. And not only are things going virtual, but the same old discrimination still persists. So for instance, that was that sister that was in there pregnant, ready to deliver, in pain, and the hospital the emergency room sent her away, and she had to have the baby outside in the car. That's discrimination. Back during the COVID days, there was an African-American doctor that had COVID, and she was crying out because they were really not giving her the medication that she needed. And And I think what she wanted to do was probably get off that ventilator or something like that, but they just weren't giving her care. And thank goodness somebody wrote about it. But all of these are examples of the fact that in traditional medicine, even though it is going virtual, it a lot of times doesn't serve us well. So we need to make the most of traditional and white medicine, but we've got to also have our people out there helping to tell us what's going on, what's happening, and we need to use as Black professionals as much as we can so that we're getting real health care.
As a professor, pastor, and attorney, what are the stressors that are affecting us to make healthy decisions as we fight the Southern strategy?
Yeah. A part of it is on ourselves. We still have some aspects of the syphilis experiment stuff where sometimes we're a little slow to get the healthcare that we need. All of us need to be getting our annual checkups. All of us got to make sure we have a general physician. All of us have to listen to the advice about getting our sleep, about eating better, about exercising, lowering our stress. And discrimination by itself is a stressor. And so it also means that we need to be outing things like the Southern strategy. It's a health thing too. And then at the same time, what we've got to do is we got to really try to work with our medical health professionals. Do everything we can to try to get an African-American doctor, an African-American nurse, somebody that's going to care more about us, a dentist, and they're learning new things about dental health, about how that stuff happening in the mouth is affecting us in our digestive tract and even our brains. And our professionals can help us with all of that. And then lastly, we got to make sure we stay on our own health, even after we go see the doctor. If you're not satisfied with what they're telling you, go look it up your own self. Go study, go ask questions. Sometimes people go home and find out more online than they learned from the doctor, and go back with that new information, especially in writing. Go onto your my chart and say, thank you for talking to me. I raised this, because they're going to give you better health care if you leave a written record, because things work by writing more than oral. And they got to cover their behind now that you showed that you found an article that said you might have this other condition they didn't want to treat you for, rather than the lower condition that they did treat you for that ain't fixing the problem. So use your my chart and all of that stuff to make them give you good health care, because in order to take away what they did from Native peoples, they set up the whole legal system on writing. We are oral people. We like to go see somebody. We like to go talk to them, but whoever wins on the writing is going to end up winning. So Never let them out my chart you.
Okay. Our show is coming to a close. We got a 3rd-part series coming up. Thank you, Professor Carl Livingston, for your insight. And let's undo the Southern strategy. God bless you.
Thank you, Seattle, for checking out the show with BK Presents on Rainier Avenue Radio. It's been our pleasure. But listen, we want to connect with you. Maybe you have some takeaways from the show that you would like to let us know about. You can do that in 2 ways. You can go on Twitter and follow us at BK Presents, or email us bkpresents@